Hey guys, it's Jog. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, you want to learn Java. Now, personally, I really like Java. I love Java. I mean, since high school, I've been a huge fan of Java because it is so delicious. I mean, if you go to Starbucks and you don't get that Java chip frappuccino, what really are you doing with your life? Alright, so I have a slight feeling that you guys probably feel a little misled. You probably came to this video to learn some programming, and I guess we can get into that. But in order for me to hop back onto my desk and actually go over some Java, I need to make sure that you guys have liked and subscribed. Have you guys done it? Thank you so much, and let's get to it. Now, Java is what we call an object-oriented programming language, meaning it has objects, they have things, and they do things. Pretty cool, right? But this also means that we can represent real-world objects and systems in our code. Like, for example, things that function, your car, your calculator, your phone, all those things have things and they do things. So they're objects and we can represent them in code. Like, for example, your car, it has a color, it has a make, it has an MPG, and it can do actions, it can drive, it can park, it can steer. Now, in Java, all these objects, we represent them as classes. Like, for example, we can have a car class, we can have a calculator class. Additionally, as for the attributes like color, like MPG, like I mentioned before, those are also what we call as attributes, properties, or even data fields. Also, in terms of the actions that they do, like driving, like steering, like parking, those are what we call as methods. Like we could have a steering method, a driving method. In this video, I'm going to be going over a simple demonstration of what I mean. I'm going to show you all how to represent a calculator in Java. Now, with regards to actually setting up and writing out Java code on your computer, you're gonna need to have what we call an IDE, an interactive development environment. Examples of great IDEs are IntelliJ or Eclipse. These are all great IDEs that help you write your Java code in a very simple and easy format. All right, without further ado, let's get into our calculator example. All right, so first things first, I've opened up a Java file within IntelliJ, this IDE. It's called calculator.java because I am going over a calculator example. So the thing in Java is you can have a class for calculator, and I'll call it public class calculator. You have squiggly brackets to match up. And the key thing to note is your class name must match your file name. That's just a solid requirement within Java. Now, going over the things we talked about, we want methods. We want our calculator to do things. And in our example, we'll do a simple for function. So add, subtract, divide, and multiply. And actually, before I type out that method, I'm actually going to type in this quick thing called a main method, and this is the thing I can actually use to run and test my code. So when I actually develop the add, subtract, all those methods, I want to be able to test it and run it, and this is what will allow me to do, this main method. So I'm gonna go ahead and write out the other methods like the add, subtract, divide, and multiply. Just a quick brief about how a Java method is written is that we have this word public. It basically shows this method can be accessed in any Java files within the context. As for the static, this just means that it can be accessed on a class level. Now, this could be a little tricky to understand, but basically what this means is you can access this method by just calling the class name rather than having an instance of the class. And maybe I'll make another video on this just to be a little more clear because this could get a little confusing. Now, quick thing to note in Java, there are many ways to type or indicate numbers. And as we know, there are fundamentally two types of numbers, either whole numbers or decimals. And the main ways we indicate these numbers are either int or double. Now, ints are whole numbers like 4, 5, 6. Doubles are like 4.5, 5.5, 6.8. And this word right here, this double right before the name of our function, basically indicates what the return type is going to be. So we have two decimal numbers being sent in, and we have a decimal being returned out. Now, clearly how calculators work is they're given a user input, like you actually have to type in the numbers and type in a function for it to do in order to get an output. So we want to model that. And how we are going to be able to do this is, so within our main method, we are going to take use of a scanner class. And how this is instantiated is scanner sc equals new scanner system.in. And so real quick, I'm going to have to import this class. So first things first, we are going to need to prompt the user to enter in an operation, whatever that may be: add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So we can do that by printing out to the console through this thing called system.out.print, which, by the way, you can literally print out anything like numbers, like words, like sentences. But in this case, we'll print out saying that please input an operation. And we can actually run this for now. It says please input an operation. Now we actually have to allow the user to input the operation. So we can do this by saying operation equals sc.next. And if we run this real quick, it says please input an operation, and I'll say add. And clearly it doesn't do anything because I haven't programmed it to do anything, but you get the gist. We have been able to put in an operation. Now we actually need the numbers for which we're going to be doing the operations, like 4 plus 3, like 5 plus 2. We need those numbers coming in. So how we can do this is by prompting the user once again. So as you can see, on top of what I have with the operation, I have two print lines that say, please input your first number, and it has something to take in your first number, and then input your second number, and it has something to take in your second number. Now the scanner object is really useful because it can help me with all those functions. So let me just run this real quick. So please input an operation. So I'll do add, and please input your first number, 3, second number, 4, and boom, that's it. We haven't programmed it to actually call the add function or method or anything like that. So the thing is, with the operation, we have many different options. We have the operation of add, subtract, multiply, and divide. But how do we prompt our program to actually, when we type in add, to call the add function? Or if we type in subtract, to call the subtract function? So what we can do is use this thing called the switch statement. So this switch statement, what it does is it takes in a parameter, and in this case, we'll send in our operation. So as you can see, a switch statement, it takes in a specific operation, and in different cases, case we have an add, case we have a subtract, case we have a multiply, we can do different things. So this allows me to do, okay, so I inputted add, now let me call the add function. So how this actually looks in code is so as you can see, what I have right here is I have 4 different cases. One case for add, it calls the add function and prints out what the output is going to be. Same thing for subtract, same thing for multiply, and same thing for divide. Now, all that's left is to actually test this out. So we can test this out by right-clicking, running, and okay, so let's input an operation, add. Okay, our first number can be 4, second number 5, and it says 4 plus 5 equals 9. If we want, we can run this again, try out some other functions. Let's try out multiply this time. So we'll type in multiply. Please input your first number. It can be 3, second number 4. 3 times 4 equals 12. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, very simply, this was a tutorial of Java, and as you can see, we can easily represent a 4-function calculator within our code. And with that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial type video, and if you did, be sure to hit that like button and let me know in the comment section below. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, put those in the comments as well, and I'll make sure to make those happen. And just as always, for more content on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3:45 p.m. EST, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video.